So general list comments, if I'm going to make a general and then a list assessment, sorry, not comments, I'm going to call this fraction summative. And I'm going to put mathematics, leave everything else. Go next, rating scale, I'm going to use a 3-point. I'm going to do it for everybody. So I'm going to say submit. So here's my list assessment. Up here at the top, you see enter column title. So I can have up to 10 different columns in here. So it could be, this could be spelling, and I could do week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, that sort of thing. And here, because I did fraction summative, sometimes if it's a larger assessment, like a summative assessment, there's multiple things being assessed. So I sometimes break them up so I can see what students need to work on. So I might call this one, say fractions, it could be just equivalent fractions. Sometimes I'll use just the check mark. Sometimes I'll use a number, like an actual score they got. So let's pretend this was a test. And I'll say maybe that section was worth 2 points. I like to put that in brackets and put, let's say it's worth 4 points. 4 points like that, put in brackets and use a number, submit. So that's equivalent fractions. Maybe the other part was on modeling fractions. Modeling. And maybe that was worth 5 points. And then, so I'm going to use that as a number. And you can do a combination. I could use some as numbers and some as just check marks. Let's say this one was fractions adding. And I'm going to do that as a number because it's the test. Oops. Tap back in there. And I'm going to put in 5 points. Okay, done. So now, for Anita Bath, I would just go and say, okay, she had 3, 5, 5. And let's say the whole thing is worth, it's worth 14 altogether. I should put the value in here. If I put the value in as 14, you'll see right now there's nothing beside 14 there. If I tap outside now, it's going to put the score. It's going to add up the 5 plus the 5 plus the 3, and it automatically shows she got 14. If I'm not really tracking scores, then I could just use the rating. Then I wouldn't have to put the value in. So I would just get rid of that value and put in a rating. So you can do it either way. I'm going to actually put that back in and use both. So I'm going to say 14. So there we go. And let's say this person got 1, 1, 2. I'm going to say their beginning. And this person has 5, 5, 5. They got it. And one more I'll do. 3, let's say 2, 2, 3, 5. All right, let's pretend I had everybody done. By separating them into these different categories for one test, I can then say, okay, when I look at this, column average is at the bottom, 2.8 out of 4 for equivalent fractions. So maybe equivalent fractions are an area that maybe needs a little work. 4.3 out of 5 for adding seems pretty good. And so I can decide whether I need to spend more time on certain subject or certain concepts. But I can also, if I tap the little sort button above the category, so up here, equivalent fractions, if I tap that, it separates it out so I can see who, is got the week. I better tap this person, let's say they're beginning too. So you can see who's got the low marks and who I need to work with. So this person only got 1. It separates it by the score. If it was check marks on here, it would separate between check marks and X's, depending on what information you enter. So I could sort by modeling type. So you can see that Justin Case has 1 out of 5, so he needs work. And adding fractions. Well, it looks like most people have it, except for Justin Case. So I could do a focus group, on adding fractions. Justin Case would just be getting one-on-one support for that, or in a small. And maybe if I was doing equivalent fractions, I might put Justin Case and Gladys, Gladysia, in another group.